Captain Hyun-woo Park stood in the control room of Deep Space Station Omega-7, watching the stars through the large window. The station floated far from Earth, hidden in the dark space between planets. Most people on Earth did not know this place existed. They thought it was just another research station studying distant stars. Hyun-woo had been the captain here for 3 years. The job was usually boring. Day after day, his team watched empty space and listened to radio signals from far away. Sometimes they heard natural sounds from dying stars or gas clouds. Sometimes they caught old TV shows from alien worlds. But today felt different. Captain called Ji-won Kim from her desk. She was the best communication officer in the Earth Defense Force. Her fingers moved quickly over the control panel as strange sounds filled the room. I am getting something weird. This signal is not natural. Hyun-woo walked over to Ji-won's station. The screen showed wave patterns that looked like language. But this was not human language. The patterns were too complex and moved in ways that human voices could never make. Where is it coming from? Hyun-woo asked. Ji-won pointed to a star map on her screen. A red dot blinked in the Andromeda sector, very far from Earth. The signal is strong, Captain. Whoever sent this has powerful transmitters, much more powerful than anything we have on Earth. Lieutenant Taemin Lee looked up from his workstation. He was young but very smart with computers and codes. Captain, I think this is encrypted. They are hiding what they want to say. Can you break the code? Hyun-woo asked. Taemin smiled. Give me 2 hours. I have some new programs that might work. While Taemin worked on the alien code, Hyun-woo felt worried. In his 3 years at the station, they had heard many alien signals. Most were just radio shows or simple messages between ships. But this signal was different. It was too strong and too well hidden. Someone was trying very hard to keep this message secret. Ji-won kept listening to the signal. Captain, there is more coming in. This is not just one message. They are talking back and forth to each other. Like a conversation? Yes, but a long-distance one. The signals are coming from 2 different places. One from the Andromeda sector and one from much closer. Maybe only 50 light-years away. Hyun-woo felt cold. 50 light-years was still very far, but in space terms it was close to Earth. Too close. 2 hours later, Taemin called everyone to his station. His face was pale and his hands shook a little. Captain, you need to see this. I broke their code. The main screen filled with alien writing that slowly changed into English words. The computer was translating the message in real time. What Hyun-woo read made his blood freeze. Fleet Commander Vexthal, the target world has been confirmed. Species designation, human. Planet designation, Earth. Intelligence level, primitive. Military technology, kinetic projectiles and chemical explosives. Space defense capability, none detected. Fleet strength for conquest, 200 vessels. Estimated resistance time, 72 hours maximum. Estimated casualties, less than 1%. Begin approach vector. Invasion commences in 6 months. The room became very quiet. Ji-won dropped her coffee cup and it broke on the floor. Taemin stared at the screen like he could not believe what he was reading. They want to invade Earth, Ji-won whispered. Hyun-woo nodded slowly. 200 ships. They think we are primitive. He laughed, but it was not a happy sound. They have no idea what we really have. Taemin was reading more of the translated messages. Captain, look at this. They have been watching us for years. But their information is old. Very old. They think our most advanced weapons are bullets and bombs. How old? Hyun-woo asked. Their data is from before 2090. That is almost 70 years ago. Before we developed quantum technology. Before we built the hidden defense network. Before we learned how to make weapons that bend space and time. Ji-won was looking at more incoming signals. Captain, they keep talking about our primitive kinetic weapons. They have no idea about our quantum cannons. They do not know about our stealth ships. They think our satellites are just for communication. Hyun-woo walked back to the big window and looked out at the stars. In the distance, he could see Earth's moon. It looked peaceful and small, but he knew the truth. Hidden all around Earth were weapons that could destroy entire fleets. Orbital platforms that looked like simple satellites could fire projectiles at 15% of light speed. Stealth ships waited in quantum fields, invisible to any alien scanner. The aliens coming to Earth thought they would find a helpless world with primitive weapons. Instead, they would find the most advanced military force in the galaxy. Earth had been preparing for this day for 50 years. Sir, Taemin said quietly, There is something else. This station we are on, it is not really just a monitoring station, is it? Hyunwoo smiled. The boy was smart. No, Taemin. Station Omega-7 is also Defense Platform Omega-7. We have enough firepower to destroy a small moon. Jiwon looked around the control room with new eyes. Now she could see the hidden weapon controls built into the walls. The large window was not just for looking at stars. It was also a targeting system. What do we do now, Captain? Jiwon asked. Hyunwoo thought for a moment. The aliens would arrive in 6 months. Earth needed time to prepare. But more importantly, Earth needed to let these aliens know they had made a terrible mistake. First, we send this information to Earth Defense Command. Admiral So Young Choi needs to know about this immediately. Second, we keep listening to their signals. I want to know everything about their fleet. How many ships, what weapons they have, where they plan to attack first. And third? Taemin asked. Hyunwoo smiled, and this time it was not a kind smile. Third, we get ready to give these aliens the biggest surprise of their lives. As the 3 humans worked to prepare Earth's defense, they did not know that their actions would change the entire galaxy. The aliens coming to Earth thought they were hunting sheep. They had no idea they were about to attack wolves. Admiral So Young Choi read the message from Captain Hyunwoo 3 times before she believed it. She sat in her office on Seoul Orbital Platform, high above Earth. Through her window she could see the blue planet spinning slowly below. It looked so peaceful. No one down there knew that alien warships were coming to destroy their world. So Young had been the head of Earth Defense Command for 10 years. In that time, she had always wondered when this day would come. Earth had been preparing for alien contact since 2100. But she had hoped the first contact would be peaceful. Now she knew it would be war. She pressed a button on her desk. Get me Dr. Min-ho Jang and Commander Yoon Ji-song. Emergency meeting in 5 minutes. Dr. Min-ho Jang arrived first. He was Earth's best expert on alien languages. For 20 years he had studied every alien signal they had intercepted. He knew how 12 different alien species talked to each other. If anyone could communicate with these invaders, it would be Min-ho. Commander Yoon Ji-song came next. She was young but brilliant. Her team controlled all of Earth's quantum communication systems. These systems could send messages across the galaxy instantly. They were also completely invisible to alien technology. Sit down, So Young said. We have a problem. She showed them Captain Hyunwoo's report. Both of them read it carefully. Min-ho's face became very serious. Chunji started calculating numbers in her head. 200 ships, Yoonji said. That is a lot. But our defense network can handle it. The problem is not winning the fight, So Young said. The problem is what happens after. If we destroy their entire fleet, other aliens will notice. They will know Earth has advanced weapons. Some of them might decide to attack us first before we become too strong. Min-ho nodded. But if we let them attack without warning, millions of humans will die. Even if we win quickly, they will destroy cities before we stop them. So Young stood up and walked to the window. Below she could see the lights of cities on Earth's night side. Each light represented thousands of people who did not know they were in danger. There is another option, she said slowly. We warn them. Yoonji looked confused. Warn the aliens? Why would we do that? Think about it, So Young said. These aliens think we are primitive. They are coming here because they believe we cannot fight back. What if we prove them wrong before they arrive? Min-ho started to understand. A demonstration. We show them that their information is wrong. Exactly. We send them a message that proves we know they are coming. We prove we have technology they do not expect. Maybe they will decide Earth is not worth attacking. Yoonji shook her head. Admiral, that is very risky. If we show them our technology, they might bring more ships. Or they might decide to leave us alone, So Young said. Min-ho, can you write a message that will make them think twice? Min-ho thought for a moment. Yes, but it must be careful. We need to sound strong but not threatening. We need to show knowledge but not reveal too much. What do you have in mind? A formal military communication. We acknowledge that we know they are coming. We suggest they have bad information about our capabilities. We give them a chance to reconsider. So Young liked this idea. Yoonji, can your team send a message to their fleet? Yes, Admiral. We have been tracking their communication signals. I can broadcast on all the frequencies they use. But should we tell them who we are? Use the official name, So Young said. Terran Defense Force. Let them know they are not attacking helpless civilians. They are attacking a military organization. While Min-ho worked on writing the message, So Young made other preparations. She called Yujin Nam, the chief engineer of Earth's orbital defense system. Yujin was only 25 years old, but she was a genius with quantum technology. Yujin, I need you to activate the defense grid, So Young said over the communication link. All of it, Admiral? Yujin sounded surprised. That is 300 orbital platforms. If we activate all of them at once, every alien scanner in this part of the galaxy will notice. That is exactly what I want. These aliens think our satellites are just for communication. Time to show them the truth, Yujin smiled. So Young could hear it in her voice. Understood, Admiral. Beginning activation sequence now. All platforms will be ready in 6 hours. Dr. Minho finished writing the warning message. He brought it to So Young to read. To the approaching Velkari fleet, the Terran Defense Force acknowledges your pending arrival in our system. We recommend you review your intelligence assessments regarding our capabilities. Recent technological developments may have changed the tactical situation significantly. This communication serves as professional courtesy between military forces. We advise caution. This is your only warning, So Young read it twice. Perfect. It sounds polite but dangerous. They will know we are not afraid. The message is in their language, Minho said, but I also want to send it in 11 other alien languages. That will prove we have been listening to galactic communications for a long time. Yunji took the message to her team. They prepared to broadcast it on 47 different frequencies. The message would reach the alien fleet in 3 days. While they waited, Yujin activated Earth's hidden weapons. 300 satellites that had looked like simple communication devices suddenly revealed their true purpose. Each one contained quantum cannons that could punch holes through solid metal from thousands of miles away. Kinetic accelerators that could fire projectiles at incredible speeds. Shield generators that could protect entire continents. The activation sequence sent energy signals across space. Any alien with advanced scanners would notice. Earth was announcing to the galaxy that it was not defenseless. Captain Hyun-woo called from his monitoring station. Admiral, the aliens are still coming, but I think they noticed our power-up. Their communication traffic has increased. They are talking to each other a lot more now. Are they worried? So Young asked. Hard to tell, but they are definitely confused. Our energy readings are much higher than their old intelligence reports said they should be. 3 days after sending the warning, they got an answer. The alien response was short and arrogant. Primitive species. Your attempts at intimidation are noted but ineffective. The Velkari Empire has conquered 47 worlds. Your resistance will be brief. Prepare for assimilation. Minho translated the message for everyone. They are not taking us seriously, Admiral. So Young was not surprised. Proud species never listen to warnings. They have to learn the hard way. What do we do now? Yunji asked. So Young looked out at Earth again. The planet looked the same as always. But now it was protected by the most advanced weapons in the galaxy. Hidden ships waited in quantum fields. Orbital platforms charged their weapons. Millions of soldiers prepared for battle. Now we get ready to teach the Velkari Empire a lesson they will never forget. So Young said. They think they are coming to conquer primitive humans. Instead, they are about to meet the most dangerous military force in the galaxy. Yujin's voice came over the communication system. Admiral, all defense platforms are active. All stealth ships are in position. All quantum weapons are charged and ready. How long until the aliens arrive? So Young asked. 5 months and 3 weeks, Captain Hyun-woo reported from his station. So Young smiled. Earth was ready. The aliens coming to destroy humanity had no idea what they were flying into. They thought they were hunters, but they were actually walking into a trap. Let them come, she said quietly. Earth is waiting. Fleet Commander Vexthul stood on the bridge of his massive warship. Eternal Conquest. The ship was 3 miles long and carried enough weapons to destroy a small moon. Around him, 200 other Velkari warships moved through space toward the target system. This was the largest invasion fleet the Empire had assembled in 50 years. Vexthul was proud of his record. In his 30 years as a fleet commander, he had conquered 12 worlds. Each time the pattern was the same. The Velkari fleet would arrive with overwhelming force. The primitive species would panic. Within days, sometimes hours, they would surrender. The Empire would take their resources and put the survivors to work. Commander, said his communication officer, we have received another message from the target world. Vexthul had been getting these messages for weeks now. Ever since they left Velkari space, the humans had been sending warnings. The messages claimed that Earth was defended. They said the Velkari had bad information. They suggested the invasion fleet should turn around and go home. Delete it, Vexthul said. I do not waste time reading the fears of primitive creatures. But Sub-Commander Kreshitar stepped forward. He was younger than Vexthul, and had only conquered 3 worlds. But he was smart and careful. Commander, perhaps we should read this one. Our scouts are reporting some unusual things about the target system. Vexthul turned to look at his second-in-command. Kreshitar was a good officer, but he worried too much. What unusual things? Energy readings that are much higher than our intelligence reports predicted. The humans have many more satellites than we expected. Some of them are emitting quantum signatures that our science teams cannot identify. Vexthul laughed. It was a harsh sound that echoed around the bridge. Of course, they have more satellites than we expected. Primitive species always waste resources on useless technology. They probably use their satellites to broadcast entertainment shows. Yes, Commander, but the energy levels are very high. Some of these satellites are producing more power than our intelligence said the entire planet could generate. Then our intelligence was wrong about their power plants. Primitive species often waste energy. It does not matter. Our shields can stop any weapon they might have. Kreshitar pulled up a holographic display showing the human solar system. Red dots marked the locations of all detected human technology. There were hundreds of red dots around Earth, far more than their original intelligence had suggested. Commander, look at this distribution pattern. These satellites are not randomly placed. They are positioned in a defensive formation around their planet. Vexthul studied the display for a moment. The satellites did seem to be positioned strategically, but that could not be right. According to all their information, humans were barely capable of spaceflight. They had only started leaving their planet in large numbers 50 years ago. Coincidence, Vexthul decided. Even primitive species sometimes position their technology in patterns that look organized. The science officer, a young Velkari named Thekmol, raised one of his 6 arms. Commander, I have been analyzing the quantum signatures from the human satellites. The patterns are similar to our own quantum technology, but more advanced. Impossible, Vexthul said immediately. Humans do not have quantum technology. Our intelligence clearly states they are limited to kinetic weapons and chemical explosives. Yes, Commander, but this intelligence is 70 years old. Perhaps they have developed new capabilities since then. Vexthul was getting annoyed. His officers were starting to sound nervous, and nervous officers made mistakes. He had not conquered 12 worlds by being cautious. He had won by being bold and aggressive. Enough, he said in his command voice. Our intelligence is accurate. The Velkari Empire has the best scouts in the galaxy. If humans had advanced technology, we would know about it. He walked to the main viewing screen, which showed the stars ahead of them. Somewhere among those stars was Earth, a small blue planet full of primitive creatures who thought they could scare the mighty Velkari Empire with messages and warnings. Think about this logically, Vexthul said to his officers. We have conquered 47 worlds. Some of them had technology almost as advanced as ours. None of them could stop us. These humans have been in space for less than 100 years. How could they possibly have weapons that threaten us? Kreshitar looked at the data again. Commander, I agree that seems impossible. But what if they received help from another species? What if someone gave them advanced technology? Who? We know every advanced species in this part of the galaxy. None of them have contacted the humans. Our long-range scouts would have detected any alien presence in their system. The communication officer spoke up again. Commander, the human messages are becoming more frequent. They are broadcasting on 47 different frequencies now. They seem to know about communication methods that should be unknown to primitive species. Vexthul was tired of this discussion. His officers were letting their imaginations run wild. Soon they would be jumping at shadows and seeing threats that did not exist. Listen to me carefully, he said. The humans are afraid. They know we are coming, so they are trying to scare us away with lies about their capabilities. This is exactly what we expect from primitive species. They always try to bluff when they cannot fight. He brought up the invasion plan on the main screen. It was simple and effective. The fleet would emerge from faster-than-light travel at the edge of the human system. They would destroy any resistance in space, then focus on the major population centers on Earth. After demonstrating their overwhelming power, they would demand surrender. Our weapons can crack continents, Vexthul reminded his officers. Our shields can stop any kinetic projectile these humans might fire. Our sensors can detect any ship they send against us. We have done this 47 times before. This will be no different. But privately, Vexthul was starting to have small doubts. Not about victory, that was certain, but about how easy the victory would be. The human messages did sound strangely confident for a primitive species, and the energy readings from their system were higher than expected. Still, he pushed these thoughts away. Doubt was the enemy of command. His fleet was the most powerful military force in this region of space. 200 warships with enough firepower to destroy multiple planets. No primitive species could stand against such force. Thekmol, he called to the science officer. What is our estimated arrival time?
4 months and 2 weeks, Commander. Good. Begin final preparations.
I want all weapons charged and all shields at maximum power when we arrive. We will show these humans what happens when primitive species try to threaten the Velkari Empire. As the massive fleet continued toward Earth, Vexthul thought about the victory celebration he would have after conquering the human world. Another planet added to the Empire. Another species brought under Velkari control. Another success in his long career of conquest. He had no idea that he was leading his fleet toward the most dangerous military force in the galaxy. The humans had been preparing for this moment for decades. While the Velkari had conquered primitive worlds, humanity had been developing weapons that could bend the laws of physics. In 4 months, Vexthul would learn that sometimes the most dangerous enemy is the one you underestimate. The Velkari fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of Earth's solar system. Fleet Commander Vexthul expected to see empty space and maybe a few primitive human ships trying to run away. Instead, his sensors immediately detected something that made no sense. Commander, his sensor officer called out, I am reading 50 human vessels directly ahead of us. Large ones. Vexthul looked at the main screen. At first, he saw nothing but empty space. Then one by one, ships began to appear. They materialized out of nowhere, as if they had been invisible. Each ship was massive, almost as large as a Velkari cruiser. How did they hide from our sensors? Vexthul demanded. Unknown, Commander. The technology appears to be some form of quantum stealth field. Our sensors cannot detect ships using this method. At the center of the human formation was the largest ship, painted in dark blue with gold markings. Captain Donghyun Kang stood on its bridge, looking at the alien fleet through his viewing screen. The ship was called Soul's Fury, and it contained weapons that the Velkari could not imagine. All ships, this is Captain Kang. He spoke into his communication system. The aliens are here. Remember your training. Show them what humanity can do. Behind Captain Kang, his crew worked at control stations that seemed to think for themselves. The ship's artificial intelligence was already calculating the best way to destroy each alien vessel. Lieutenant Hyun Yoon sat at the orbital weapons control station, connected to every defense platform around Earth. Captain, Hyun said, orbital defense platforms are ready. 300 satellites have target locks on the alien fleet. Hold fire until they shoot first, Captain Kang ordered. Admiral Choi wants to give them one last chance to leave. On the Velkari flagship, Vexthul was trying to understand what he was seeing. Human ships that could turn invisible. Energy readings that were off his charts. Weapon signatures that his computers could not identify. Send them a surrender demand, he ordered. Tell them they have one chance to give up before we destroy them. The message reached the human fleet in seconds. Captain Kang read it and almost laughed. The aliens still thought they were in control. Send a reply, Captain Kang told his communication officer. Tell them they have 30 seconds to leave our system before we defend ourselves. When Vexthul received the human response, he became angry. No primitive species had ever made demands of the Velkari Empire. All ships open fire, he commanded. Destroy the human fleet. 200 Velkari warships fired at once. Plasma cannons that could melt mountains sent streams of superheated energy toward the human ships. The aliens expected to see the human vessels explode into clouds of metal and fire. Instead, something impossible happened. The human ship's armor seemed to learn from each hit. The first plasma blast did some damage, but each shot after that did less. The armor was adapting, becoming stronger against the exact type of weapons firing at it. Impossible, Vexthul shouted. Nothing can adapt to plasma weapons that quickly. Captain Kang smiled as he watched his ship's armor adjust to the alien attacks. Hyun, activate orbital platforms. Show them what real weapons look like. Around Earth, 300 satellites that had looked like simple communication devices suddenly revealed their true purpose. Massive cannon barrels extended from hidden compartments. Quantum energy began building up to incredible levels. Lieutenant Haoun's fingers danced across her controls. The orbital platforms were connected to her mind through neural links. She could fire all 300 weapons as easily as moving her hand. Firing solution locked, she announced. Quantum torpedoes away. The weapons that fired from Earth's orbital platforms did not look like normal missiles. They seemed to phase in and out of existence as they traveled through space. When they hit the Valkyrie ships, they passed right through the alien shields as if the shields were not there. The first alien ship to be hit simply disappeared. One moment it was there, the next moment it was expanding cloud of glowing gas. Then another ship vanished. Then 10 more. Shields are useless, the Valkyrie sensor officer screamed. Their weapons are passing through our defenses. Vexithul could not believe what he was seeing. Valkyrie shields could stop any known weapon. They had never failed before. But these human weapons seemed to exist in a different dimension, striking from directions that should not be possible. Return fire. All weapons, he ordered desperately. The human fleet began its counterattack. Captain Kang's ship fired kinetic projectiles that moved at 15% of light speed. When they hit alien vessels, they passed completely through the ships and out the other side, leaving perfectly round holes that vented atmosphere and crew into space. Other human ships used weapons that bent space and time around their targets. Valkyrie vessels found themselves compressed into tiny points, then stretched apart across miles of space. Some alien ships simply folded in half as reality warped around them. This is impossible, Vexthul kept saying. How do they have such weapons? They are supposed to be primitive. Sub-Commander Kreshtar was working frantically at his station, trying to understand what was happening. Commander, these weapons use physics we do not understand. They are manipulating quantum fields, bending space-time, accelerating matter to relativistic speeds. This technology is centuries ahead of ours. In the first hour of battle, the Valkyrie lost 80 ships. The human fleet had not lost a single vessel. Every time the aliens tried a new tactic, the human ships adapted instantly. Their artificial intelligence systems were learning faster than biological minds could think. We have to retreat, Kreshtar said. We cannot win this fight. But when Vexthul tried to order his ships to escape into faster-than-light travel, he discovered something terrifying. The human ships had surrounded his fleet with some kind of field that prevented faster-than-light engines from working. We are trapped, his navigation officer reported. The humans have created a faster-than-light inhibitor field around our entire fleet. Captain Kang watched as more alien ships exploded under the combined fire of his fleet and the orbital platforms. He felt no joy in the destruction. War was never something to celebrate. But these aliens had come to destroy Earth and enslave humanity. They had chosen this fight. Alien flagship, Captain Kang broadcasted on all frequencies. This is your final warning. Surrender now or be destroyed. Your choice. On the Valkyrie flagship, Vexthul looked around his bridge. Half his control stations were damaged. Many of his officers were injured. His mighty fleet was being torn apart by weapons he could not understand. For the first time in his military career, Fleet Commander Vexthul realized he was going to lose. The primitive humans he had come to conquer were not primitive at all. They were the most advanced military force he had ever encountered. All ships, he said quietly into his communication system, cease fire and prepare to surrender. We have lost. As the surviving Valkyrie ships lowered their weapons and shields, Captain Kang felt relieved. The battle was over and Earth was safe. But he knew this was just the beginning. Word of this battle would spread across the galaxy. Every alien species would learn that humanity was not helpless. Some would want to be friends. Others would see Earth as a threat that needed to be destroyed before it became too powerful. Haoun, Captain Kang said, send a message to Admiral Choi. Tell her the first battle is won. But we need to prepare for the war that is coming. 6 months after the battle at Earth, Admiral So-Young Choi stood in the former throne room of the Valkyrie Emperor. The massive palace on the Valkyrie homeworld had been built to show the power and glory of the Empire. Now it served as the headquarters for Earth's new Galactic Defense Command. The war had lasted only 3 weeks. After losing most of their invasion fleet at Earth, the remaining Valkyrie forces had tried to retreat to their home territory. But humanity's faster-than-light tracking technology meant there was nowhere to hide. Human ships could follow enemy vessels even when they jumped to other star systems. Captain Dong-Hyun Kang had led the counterattack that captured the Velkari capital. His fleet of 50 ships had defeated a defending force of 300 vessels. The aliens' weapons and shields were simply no match for human quantum technology. "Admiral," Dr. Min-ho Jang said as he entered the throne room. "The representatives from the Andorian Republic have arrived. They want to discuss a trade agreement with Earth." So Young nodded. In the 6 months since Earth's victory over the Velkari, dozens of alien species had sent diplomats to meet with humanity. Some came because they were afraid of Earth's military power. Others came because they wanted to learn about human technology. A few came because they had been enslaved by the Velkari Empire and wanted to thank their liberators. "How many worlds have we freed so far?" So Young asked. 23, Minho replied. Each one had been conquered by the Velkari within the last 50 years. The people on these worlds are very grateful to humanity for giving them back their freedom. So Young walked to the large window that looked out over the Velkari capital city. The streets below were busy with humans and aliens working together to rebuild the damage from the war. It was strange to think that 6 months ago, this had been the center of a conquering empire. Now it was becoming a symbol of cooperation between different species. "Any word from Captain Hyunwoo?" she asked. "Yes, Admiral. The warning station memorial is operating perfectly. We have received peaceful contact requests from 47 different alien civilizations. Captain Hyunwoo's team is processing each one carefully to determine which species are genuinely interested in friendship." The warning station memorial had been built, where the original Deep Space Station Omega-7 used to be. It was much larger now, designed to monitor all galactic communications and serve as humanity's first point of contact with alien species. The name honored the fact that humanity had tried to warn the Velkari before destroying them. Commander Yoonji Song entered the throne room carrying a report. "Admiral, I have the latest intelligence summary. The galactic situation has stabilized. Most alien governments are taking a wait-and-see approach toward Earth. They want to understand our intentions before making any decisions." "What about potential threats?" So Young asked. "Only 2 species seem to be considering military action against us. The Zenthari Collective and the hive mind of Kepler 442. Both are much larger than the Velkari Empire was. But our intelligence suggests they are more interested in testing our defenses than launching a full invasion." So Young was not surprised. Earth's defeat of the Velkari had been so complete that it scared other alien governments. No one wanted to attack humanity until they understood how human weapons worked. The door opened again, and Yujin Nam walked in. She was no longer the young engineer who had activated Earth's orbital defenses. Now she was the chief of Galactic Defense Engineering, responsible for protecting not just Earth but all 23 liberated worlds. "Admiral, the new defense platforms around the former Velkari worlds are online. Each planet now has the same protection that Earth has. If anyone tries to reconquer these worlds, they will face the same surprise the Velkari did." "Excellent work, Yujin. What about our ship construction program? We now have 200 advanced warships with 50 more being built each month. Our industrial capacity has increased dramatically since we gained access to Velkari manufacturing technology." So Young smiled. The irony was perfect. The Velkari had attacked Earth hoping to steal human resources. Instead, humanity had captured Velkari technology and used it to become even stronger. "Admiral," Minho said, "there is someone here who wants to speak with you." A figure walked into the throne room. It was Kreshtar, the former sub-commander of the Velkari fleet. After the war, he had asked to work with humanity rather than return to what remained of the Velkari government. He had become Earth's advisor on galactic military affairs. "Admiral Choi," Kreshtar said in his careful English, "I have been analyzing the intelligence reports from across the galaxy. I believe you should know what other species are saying about humanity. Go ahead." They call Earth the warning world. They say humanity is the only species that offers enemies a chance to surrender before demonstrating superior force. Most alien governments find this concept very strange. So Young thought about this. "Strange how?" "In galactic history, powerful species usually attack first and ask questions later. The fact that humanity sent warnings to the Velkari instead of simply destroying the invasion fleet has confused many alien leaders. They do not understand why you would give enemies advance notice of your capabilities. It is called honor. So Young said simply, "We do not enjoy killing. We prefer to give our enemies a chance to make better choices." Kreshitar nodded. "This is why many species now want to be allies with Earth. They believe that humanity will not conquer them unless they attack first. This makes you different from every other major power in the galaxy." Yujin looked thoughtful. "So our reputation is helping us make friends?" "Yes," Kreshitar said, "but it is also making some species more nervous. They know that any attack on Earth or its allies will result in complete destruction. The Velkari learned this lesson, but they learned it too late." Dr. Minho brought up a holographic map of the galaxy. It showed the locations of all known alien civilizations. Green dots marked species that wanted friendship with Earth. Yellow dots showed neutral species. Red dots indicated potential enemies. "Look at this," Minho said. 6 months ago we knew about 12 alien species. Now we have contact with over 200. Word of our victory has spread across the entire galaxy." So Young studied the map. Most of the dots were green or yellow. Only a few were red. "The galaxy is changing," she said. "For the first time in thousands of years, there is a major power that does not want to conquer everyone else." "What happens next, Admiral?" Yunji asked. So Young thought for a moment. "We continue building our defenses. We continue helping species that ask for our protection. And we continue trying to make friends instead of enemies." She walked back to the window and looked out at the city below. Humans and aliens worked side by side, building something new. The Velkari Empire had ruled through fear and conquest. Earth's growing alliance was based on cooperation and mutual respect. "Kreshitar," she said, "what do you think the former Velkari Emperor would say if he could see his palace now?" The alien advisor considered this carefully. "I think he would be very surprised, Admiral. The Velkari believed that only the strong deserved to rule. They thought that showing mercy was a sign of weakness. And now? Now the former Velkari territory is more prosperous and peaceful than it ever was under the Empire. The species we enslaved are rebuilding their civilizations. Trade is increasing. Wars have stopped. I think the Emperor would realize that he was wrong about many things." So Young nodded. "The strongest military force in the galaxy does not have to be the cruelest. We can protect what we value without destroying what others value." As the sun set over the former Velkari capital, So Young thought about the future. Earth had become a galactic power by accident, simply by defending itself. Now humanity had the responsibility to use that power wisely. The galaxy was full of species that had spent centuries fighting each other. Earth had the chance to show them a different way. Not through conquest, but through cooperation. Not through fear, but through respect. It would not be easy. There would always be species like the old Velkari Empire that believed might makes right. But humanity had proven that the strongest force in the universe was not weapons or shields. It was the willingness to offer your enemy a chance to choose peace instead of war. And if they chose war anyway, humanity was ready for that too.